What's up, everybody? Good evening. It is I, Divine Intervention, your hostess with the mostest, back again this week for another Dynamite recap and review. My partner in crime, All Elite Joker.
Dizza.
It is him. Uh, Lots of things to cover, man. Last time we spoke, it was before Forbidden Door.
Yup.
This being Blood and Guts in Detroit, Michigan, is the aftermath of Forbidden Door, as well as its own standalone show with a big stipulation match at the end. So we will get to all of that later on. But getting right into it, I won't waste any time. Orange Cassidy and Ethan Page kicked off the broadcast this evening, back to normal, starting with a match. Last week had me all thrown off. But Orange Cassidy came out to new music. Joker, tell the fine people what music it is.
This is Jane by Jefferson Starship.
That one. I tried to look it up, but he had already figured it out. So that music's his forte. So then, of course, Dan Lambert came out. Before we move on, I saw a lot of comments about the new music that a lot of people liked the previous music. Joker, as a music man, what are your thoughts? Which do you prefer?
Honestly, I mean, Cassidy can really get away with pretty much just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because here's the thing, with new music, it's always kind of jarring. No matter, even if you didn't like the music in the first place, it's still very jarring. So, I want to give it a couple. I want to give it a couple of weeks, because I don't want it to be off of my knee jerk. Because like knee jerk, of course, you want to hear what you're used to hearing. But honestly, I mean, I feel like it could possibly, fit him a little bit better.
Gotcha. Offer it personally, I like the other song better, but
Didn't you also know the other song first?
No, I did not. I knew neither.
Really?
Yeah, I knew neither song. So can't say that I was biased in any way. I don't know, something about the cadence of the previous song like just kind of fit him a little bit better in my opinion, but both songs are good. He's just like you said, the kind of person that could come out to just about anything except for like Wardlow's theme song.
Now I want to see that because I feel like that would be absolutely hilarious just to see, his old music, his new music, either of Wardlow's themes, and then just Orange Cassidy just.
Well, he pulled the double buy in the match, so
sure
I feel
did.
like we're halfway there. Getting into the match itself, before the bell even rang, Dan Lambert came out with Ethan Page, of course, part of American Top Team, and told Bryce Remsburg, the dear referee, that unless Best Friends, who came out with Orange Cassidy, could produce a manager's license, which that's a real thing. I learned something new today. But unless they could produce a manager's license, Bryce needed to go ahead and eject them from ringside, which of course Dan's a manager, so he gets to stay. And Bryce proceeded to do the saddest wind up ejection that I have ever seen.
It was so sad.
No, he didn't want to do that to his best friends.
Booze. I know.
His best friends. Just a couple key moments here in the match. I mean, Ethan and OC had some pretty good chemistry, but I feel like Orange has good chemistry with just about every person he's been in. There's not a bad Orange Cassidy match that I can remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, not really. I mean, Orange is like just so dynamic and tells such a great story anytime he's in the ring. It's hard not to appreciate how great a wrestler he truly is.
Yeah, agreed. Ethan kind of had him up in almost like a crucifix behind his back, and Orange made a big show of trying to put his hands in his pockets and just doing Orange Cassidy stuff. Dan with outside interference. There was a Stun Dog Millionaire in there. Really kind of played off of his injuries coming off of the Will Ospreay match from Forbidden Door. I don't want to say as we called, but Will Ospreay had kind of been taking some losses leading into the pay-per-view. So, of course, he walked away with the victory there, and Orange is a bit beaten up from it. So he's been trying to do this attempted body slam throughout the body of the match. And and clearly taped up from Sunday. He's not able to pull it off until the very, very end, but we'll get there in a second. Dan on the apron with some orange juice. That spot was hilarious.
Yeah, when he walked out in the first place, because of course he's pointing at Best Friends with the bottle of orange juice in his hand. I'm like, this man has a bottle of orange juice to see orange guys. I know this is going to come into play later, but I don't know how. I'm so glad in how it did. But yeah,
he swiped it and just took a sip.
And then to Jerry, that fool.
Well, in the end, orange punch 2 times to Ethan, and he did finally end up pulling off the body slam for the win. And the Best Friends came out to celebrate in their tie-dye tracksuits. Hashtag more merch. Look, the Best Friends have more merch than the Young Bucks.
Well, they have some really cool stuff. I mean,
and the Young Bucks come out with a new shirt like almost every week.
Well, that's why they come out with 2 new shirts every week. That's their bit.
No, they've elevated now. Now it's tie-dye tracksuits.
Well, although I feel like that seems like such a young, like, you know, current Young Bucks kind of like outfit. So it was kind of fun to see on, you know, Das Boys.
Look, this match was great. Orange Cassidy's great. Ethan Page has a punchable face. Beautiful match. I want to get to this Christian Cage promo.
Well,
good thing it's next.
Well, again.
Next we have the Christian Cage promo. Tony Schiavone at the top of the ramp, speaking to Christian about his actions from last week. You know, Tony basically saying, I don't know what else you could possibly have to say after everything that went down last week. Obviously talking about for those who missed it, last week Christian Cage spoke about his turn on Jungle Boy the week prior to that, and talked about his family, talked about his mom being sweet on him, and his father who has passed. And so I thought it could not get any worse. And when I saw the graphic that Christian Cage wanted to speak to us again, I was scared. Legit.
Rightfully so.
Christian proceeds to tell us that he was asked by upper management to apologize. And Christian has made it very clear that he has never apologized for anything he said or done in his life. And so what he's sorry for he says he's sorry that the rest of Jungle Boy's family was not dead because they had to witness the match and what he did to him. As if things could not get any worse. Oh, he called them Motor City Sweat Hogs. I also wrote that down because I thought that line was just pure gold. You know, I'm not really a heel type of person, but now look. If we were to go based off my list, it's full of baby faces. Wardlow, Hangman Page.
No. I'm talking about your top people.
Those are my top people. That just named my 1 and 2.
I mean of all time.
Oh, you mean The Rock?
The Rock, Roman Reigns.
Hey man, Roman is only recently a bad guy. I love Joe. Okay. I do. I love it. Look, I'm happy for Roman. I'm glad that he's, you know, I mean, look, okay. Just let me finish. God damn it. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
But yeah, like, because MJF is not in the picture right now, I don't know if it's because of what. Are you gonna let me finish?
Yeah.
Will you let me finish?
Yeah.
Anyway, because MJF isn't in the picture right now, I think that the roster was missing the number 1 bad guy. Like, Jericho is a bad guy, but in a goofy kind of way. Like, I take Jericho maybe 40% seriously. And we'll get to
talk about the outfits, bro.
Yeah, I know. Look, the main event is a doozy, so stick around because we got a lot to talk about. But yeah, with MJF not being around, I think Christian Cage really fits this role very well. and you've got to say some truly dastardly shit to be on that same, not that same level as Max, because I mean, Christian did it first. But, you know, I mean,
to fill that void.
Yeah, that's what, not because he's not filling MJF's shoes. He's filling that void in the roster.
Yeah, that absolutely just dickhead, terrible. I can't believe you kissed your mother with that mouth kind of heel.
He wants to kiss Jungle Boy's mom. He said that was the only person that he didn't wish was dead. And then he was like, call me. So we know what's up. He really does want to be Jungle Boy's dad. I'm just saying.
He's so good, bro.
But anyway, as if things could not get any worse, out comes evil Luchasaurus.
Which is so much better.
Yeah, he's decked out in all black. His tongue is blacked out. Like,
a new black mask.
Wild. Absolutely wild. And based off of the events from last week, Christian Cage.
That man looked hardcore.
He did. He looked, I mean, like, how could you not take somebody like that super seriously? But obviously coming off of last week, Christian Cage and Luchasaurus heading off somewhere more private to have a conversation. And as it seems right now, he came out the bad guy tunnel and everything. Like, he's evil. But anyway, good old CC got him a match against Serpentico, who he quickly dispatched and then proceeded to chokeslam this poor man on the floor. So
poor Serpentico never had a chance. You know, real quick side note about Serpentico. I love Serpentico because that man, even with a mask on, you know every single thing that his face is doing throughout his body language and like his ability to just draw the crowd in with his character is absolutely outstanding. Shout out to John Cruz. Because just the beginning of the match and then them ringing the bell and he's like, no, don't do it. And then Justin Roberts and his opponent, Serpentico. Oh, he said my name. Well, just don't ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, damn it. Just slapping the turnbuckle. Gold.
Yeah, especially since you can really only see like
his eyes.
His eyes. Because he's even got the chin guard too, so you don't even get the benefit of like, you know, any kind of jaw movement. You truly have to go based off of.
But you knew every single face that man made throughout that entire encounter, and it was absolutely outstanding. Also, shout out to him for taking that choke slam on the floor.
Oh, that was nasty.
That was absolutely uncalled for.
What up?
Hello, Elvis. Good to see you.
Yeah, you could tell he kind of did his best to try to cushion the fall, but I mean, they say all
that so much,
right? I mean, they talk about all the time how thin those mats are, and he didn't even do it like right next to the ring where you know those are mats. Like, he did that at the bottom of the ramp. Zero give. Poor Serpentico. Poor John Cruz. But yeah, so Luchasaurus is evil now, in case you didn't know. And I guess we'll have to wait and see. Jungle Boy, unfortunately, currently injured. So it does make sense that they would be doing something to draw this out. I'm sure this isn't the last we'll hear from Christian Cage, depending on what the injury is. AEW's kind of been not secretive, but like they withheld a lot of information because a lot of people have been injured. And we will get to even more injuries before the end of the evening.
Right.
Hi. But we'll get to more injuries by the main event. But crazy that that made me lose my.
Luchasaurus is evil.
Yes, Luchasaurus is evil. Oh yeah, this isn't the last we're gonna hear from Christian Cage and poor Jungle Boy.
Well, I mean, he's got to get at that mom, man. He's got to talk to people. He's got to talk to people so he can get them digits.
What up, Ron? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
So yeah, I'm not sure what's gonna happen there. Evil Dinosaur, yes, absolutely. Hopefully Jungle Boy's injury is not too bad, because I would love to get the payoff of this sooner rather than later. Because, I mean, you're talking about the man's family. So I'd assume that he'd be able to, retaliate hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Boy, better hit that man with a concerto.
I mean, he hit him with one, so
It's the law.
And Jungle Boy has given one before, so it's not like he is adverse.
It's how he becomes Jungle Man.
Yes.
It's the rite of passage.
Well, look, if anybody is fit to see the boy through the transition from Jungle Boy to Jungle Man, it's his father.
Right, his stepdad.
His stepdad, Christian Cage. Hey there, good to see you guys.
Hello.
Jungle Boy is boring. I mean, I wouldn't say so, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion, even if it's wrong. Does he spit fireballs? What is he, Yoshi? Jungle Man, yes.
It's only funny because they have a shirt where he is Yoshi.
Yeah, that's true. He does have one where he's...
So yes, he is. Now he's Dark Yoshi. Ooh.
I'm crying. Is that even a thing? Look, all right, we're moving on. Scorpio Sky and Wardlow have a brief promo with Tony Shivani backstage. Sky pointing out that he's already beaten Wardlow before. This is going to be old hat for him. Tony does remind Scorpio Sky that even though he did beat Wardlow, he had some help. And Wardlow doesn't care about any of that. He's like, look, I don't care about that. I don't care about, all that. I just want the title. And I don't blame him. I think it's time for him to get strapped up. Sky coming back with, of course, big talk when there's no physicality. For those who do not know, there's a no physicality clause in most of these backstage segments, which is why they don't usually break out into big brawls. But yeah, the title match is next week.
And it's a street fight.
And it is a street fight. I forgot to write that down. See, Joker again here with the real MVP.
Hey, man, I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I forgot my notes upstairs.
I'm crying. But yes. Oh, no, I was going to say, yes, it will be a street fight.
He's a whoop your ass Saurus, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
I'm crying.
It's the truth. Also, I thought this was funny. I just wanted to throw that out.
Oh, no. Oh, I was just going to say, I kind of wish that they had drawn this out a little bit. Like, there's no need to, even if they're planning to put the belt right onto Wardlow, and this is just a formality, I really wish that they, even if it was just between the two of them, kind of drawn this out. And maybe they will. Maybe there'll be some interference from American Top Team, and maybe this will be drawn out. But I hope that this isn't just a one and done, because, everybody wants to see more of Wardlow.
Yeah. And I'm also interested in seeing what they're going to do with him with the title, because, the big thing about Wardlow up until this point has really been the chase. And if he's already got a title, I mean, aside from going after Moxley to get the other title, I
think they'll keep it on him for a minute. He's got great mic skills. Like, he held his own against Scorpio, no problem. And, I think he could cut some pretty good promos, especially getting coached up in the back by, your Eddie Kingstons of the world and your John Moxleys.
Eddie Kingston.
So, I don't know. I think it's time. He's kind of forged his path. People are really excited to see him, and I think he'd make a great TNT champion. Only for Miro to come in and, well, I say that everybody wants Miro to be the TNT champion again, but I don't think that he's coming back around that title picture for a minute.
If everybody had their way, Miro would literally be the TNT champion forever, or at least the duration of his career.
Right. He'll always be the TNT champion, and Jade Cargill will always be the TBS champion. I don't see a problem with this.
My queen shall rise.
Oh, I'm crying. All right. Moving on to another match here. Max Caster and the Gun Club, aka Ass Boys, versus Danhausen and two mystery partners. Apparently, this match came about because of what did they say? Rampage or Dark? I can't remember which one. It was another show where
Well, it was no. I mean, it was them getting slighted at the pay-per-view.
was that it?
Yeah, they got mad because of Danhausen came out and
That's right.
played the Ass Boys theme that he had made for them.
I think that's
and they ran
endearing.
him off.
That's right. So for anybody who didn't get a chance to see the pay-per-view, pretty much right as their match was about to start, because it was on the buy-in. It was supposed to be a 4-on-4, and just as they all got to the ring, Danhausen came on the loudspeaker and was like, "Hey," and played the song that Joker was just talking about. And yeah, they ran backstage and like ditched the match. So it ended up being Max Caster and Billy Gunn who ended up winning against the New Japan team. All of this, of course, taking place on the pay-per-view, and that feeds into this match. So, of course, the Ass Boys, Max Caster, very upset with Danhausen for thwarting their plans. And you'll never get... Well, first of all, before we get into who his tag team partners ended up being, the rap consisted of Max Caster talking about how they are going to beat the shit out of some juggalos.
Yes.
How are you going to cheer for a white boy in whiteface?
Question mark.
He was gonna make them drink all the water in Flint. He's much more eloquent. I'm just giving you the Cliff Notes version here. And of course he always ends it with, him and the Ass Boys. So Max, of course, spitting straight fire as usual. I thought the white boy in whiteface was fucking hilarious. But I know he's just a spooky lad. At the end of the day, FTR ended up being Danhausen's chosen tag team partners. And of course he comes out and he's like, yeah, I found some guys that are pretty good at wrestling, I think. And then FTR's music hit and we're just like, oh yeah, pretty good at wrestling. Only the AAA Ring of Honor and now IWGP tag champs as a Forbidden Door.
Gold. I need
Absolutely.
To beat the Bucks so bad.
When I say ass, you say boys. Ass.
Boys!
Absolutely. It's so funny. They hate him so much.
It's so great. And they carry it over no matter where they go, and it's the best thing.
It is pretty funny. All of this upfront stuff leading into the match. Austin and Cash to start. I put Colton with braids. Why?
Because they were buns.
This man had his hair braided like this, and then he had two little buns up here, and I was just like, why? Why?
They're the Ass Boys. You gotta have buns if you're gonna be the Ass Boys.
Oh God, I guess. I mean, I guess. FTR with stereo suplexes. They suplexed the Ass Boys together about 3 times, and then Dax held on and ended up suplexing Austin 3 more times by himself. In the end, Danhausen with the hot tag. He attempted the GTS. Like, I don't know. Like, is that his actual finisher?
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought we had talked about it at one point, that was his actual finisher in general. Yes. But the first time we've really gotten a chance to see Danhausen do stuff. Because he was of course, he got squashed by... Who did he get squashed by? Tony Nese. Thank you. My memory's awful, people. That's why I keep joking around, because
I'm a mark.
So, got squashed in his first match by Tony Nese. He had some tag team stuff with Hook, which was pretty cool, but of course, Hook did most of the heavy lifting in those. So this was the first chance that we got to see him even attempt his finisher. And so...
Did a Rana.
Yeah,
he had a couple good spots, honestly.
He's a pretty good wrestler, which is good, because I would hope that it's more than just the gimmick, and it seems like it is. I don't have as much experience with Danhausen as far as his indie career and what he's capable of doing, but I think he's great. He's very funny. In the end, Bowens can walk. He got up from his wheelchair. He was blessed by the
It's
good
a
Lord.
miracle, as exclaimed by Taz.
Yes. Crawled into the ring with his crutch and goes to hit Danhausen, but ends up hitting Austin instead. Lays out Austin Gunn on the mat. And Danhausen ends up picking up the victory. All of this culminating in Billy Gunn turning on his sons officially. It's kind of a scuffle after the match. Obviously, everybody upset. Austin super pissed that, of course, they lost because of Bowen's actions with the crutch. And Billy's not hearing any of it. And I'm sure it feeds into all the events from Forbidden Door with them bailing on the match that they were supposed to be in. So be interesting to see how this faction plays out, because Daddy Ass seems to love the Acclaim just like everybody else.
I was supposed to say, well, everybody loves the Acclaim.
Scissor me, Daddy Ass. That shit is so funny. Like, I don't know how they got that over. Maybe it was just repetition, like purely.
I was gonna say, I mean, like, it's always been the Acclaim's thing,
right?
And like they've just always been like, I think the reason that people like legitimately love the Acclaimed is because they're unapologetically themselves at all times, and they always have been.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know. And then, of course, you got Billy Gunn, who has absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's a recipe for success.
What is that tattoo of, and what does it represent? I'm assuming you mean the one that you can actually see in frame. And so, just a quick detour. It is a Pokemon chess piece. I have 5 of these babies across my chest here. Leafeon, Growlithe, Haunter, Pokemon, and Vaporeon.
Pikachu.
Oh, right. Sorry. Look, guys, I'm tired. And it's 11.
Which
is funny because this one was like part of the original set. So, and I got called Pikachu quite a bit because that's pretty much the only Pokemon that anybody recognizes off rip. So. But yeah, that's my tattoo, and I have several more. So, yeah, tattoo tour guide. I don't know what you want from me. Anyway, anything else to say about the Ass Boys and Danhausen and all those guys?
I need them to use that entrance music. I'm sorry, I know it's not gonna happen, but I just need it. Like, have Danhausen have them supposed to come out and then have them come out to that music, or like it's like scratched to that music, and then like just get like a backstage shot of Danhausen in the truck. Yes, the Ass Boys. Like, I need it.
What up, Charmaine? Good to hear from you.
Hello.
Where is Charizard? I don't know. Get a tattoo on your chest of Charizard. Square ups, bro. Yeah, I agree. I loved that they incorporated the music. I thought it was really cool.
And buy-in's on YouTube, by the way, if you want to watch it. Hilarious.
Yes, the buy-in is on YouTube. Highly recommend. There were 4 matches on it. Lot of not only good wrestling content, but they do kind of touch on the pay-per-view. So if you just want a free taste without having to buy in necessarily, check out the buy-in. One last promo here before we take a brief break. Jay Lethal, Sanjay, and Satnam Singh all cut a promo, obviously calling out Samoa Joe, who is the current TV champion for Ring of Honor. They essentially want him to come back to work, and honestly, I don't blame them. I mean, Samoa Joe's amazing. And so they want to pit the current TV champion against the longest reigning. And Satnam says Jay's going to kill him. I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes good television, and I was wondering what was going to happen with this trio. Obviously, they're really trying to get Satnam Singh over as this big, gargantuan man, which he truly is. We did get to see him in the ring a little bit. I would want to see more, but I know he's still very, very green. So you don't want to overexpose him by doing too much. But I feel like the segment to match ratio is the math's not mathing for me. Like, you want me to be intimidated by this big man, and why? Just because he's big? Show me why I should be intimidated.
Because he's huge.
Look, we've had nothing but decades of Vince pushing big people. You're gonna have to do something a little bit spicier to impress me.
Yeah, Satnam Singh, do something spicy.
I'm sorry, he's brown, so that's the spice.
Well.
Anyway, everybody, stick with us, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Pinky up.
So, how is he?
Well, same old Ethan.
How many times has Hunt's government betrayed him, disavowed him, cast him aside? How long before a man like that has had enough?
You can't fight the friction! Ethan, that's not who we are.
Maybe we need to reconsider that.
Welcome back, everybody. Don't piss off Tom Cruise.
Yeah, or else he'll do something Tom Cruise related, like running.
Yes, Ortiz wrestled. We haven't talked about that match just yet. We will get to it in the closing segment, the main event of Blood and Guts.
The last hour of the show.
Yeah, it truly was the last hour. Like, this particular podcast might not go quite as long as some of the other ones do, just because there's not nearly as much to cover. But we will keep pressing onward. Jade Cargill versus Layla Gray next. This was an open challenge issued by Jade, and of course, somebody took it. Well, yeah, no, I've learned his name at this point. I know it now. After 3 weeks, I know his name now.
My apologies.
Look, man, I'm so bad with names.
I know.
I'm so bad with. Oh, bear with me, people. But anyway, TBS title. Yes, TBS title match against Layla Gray, who was answering the open challenge. This was pretty straightforward as far as the match was concerned. Most of Jade's matches are. Layla did get a bit of offense in, so it wasn't a complete squash. But in the end, her usual pump kick, jaded combo for the win. She's now 34-0. And of course, she's a little bit pissed off. I mean, she took the mic straight from Stokely as he was about to, speak to the fine people, and basically,
footsteps.
Yeah, she grabbed the mic and said that she was tired of the women in the back complaining. Next time to find her some real competition. And Stokely was very quick to point out that, she issued an open challenge, and the person that responded to it isn't even somebody who works there. Called Chris Statlander and Athena not underutilized, but rather just lazy. And of course, the babyfaces did not like that at all. They ran in to stir up some trouble. But in the end, Stokely whispers something to Layla Gray, and she ends up joining in on the beatdown, potentially as a stand-in baddie. We don't know.
Stand-in baddie or new baddie, I mean, she could just be bolstering her forces,
Yeah. So yeah, I think that this, honestly, I really loved this segment. I'm tired of just the same cookie cutter stuff every week. Women's promo that's, happens just before the women's match, which is at the quarter hour. And while this was at the quarter hour, I feel like they used the time that they were given to the best of their ability. You got a little bit of everything. You got a match, you got a promo, you got a run in. You got somebody joining the faction potentially. We don't know. Overall, I thought this was really, really good. I hope that we see more things like this where we are threading, storyline elements into the women's matches to make people care. Like, they're not going anywhere, so you might as well do what you need to do to promote them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a really good segment for me as well. I enjoyed, every bit of it. Stokely is just absolute magic. Like, I feel like he is truly what Jade was missing. Like, Mark was good, but Stokely just has such a more commanding presence, and his mic skills just, I feel like, go perfectly with Jade.
Now here, I've heard a very interesting counter argument, and I'm interested in your point of view on it. So, of course, the counter argument is that Jade is already good on the mic by herself and already has enough of a presence by herself that she doesn't need Stokely, that he would be better utilized with somebody who can't represent themselves. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I feel like Jade is good on the mic, but I don't feel like she's like the best on the mic. I mean, for me, there is like, I still feel like there's room to grow there as far as Jade is concerned. Don't get me wrong. As far as how green she is, like, she's amazing on the mic, considering there's plenty of people who've been in the game much longer than her who can't, even do what she does. But there is still a sense of like, because the same thing for me, like with Wardlow, like there's room for growth in both of those. And I feel like being around A. Stokely is just going to elevate her quicker and get her to that place faster than she would on her own had it been with like a Mark. So does she need him? No, she doesn't need him. But it always looks better when Jade has a small man to push around.
Well, that's true.
You know what I mean? And so like you also have that aspect of it, and he has to do something while he's there. I mean, even Mark, used to talk for Jade. Plus, it also gives that air of I speak to you people when I feel like it. And because Jade only talks when she has something to say, aside from, her signature, we didn't get it this week.
Bitch, shut up before I kick you in the face again. Nobody gives a damn about that karate shit.
So, I mean, you've got stuff like that, which is, absolutely outstanding. But then like I said, you take somebody like Stokely, who is just an absolute monster on the mic. And like the ad libs, the quickness, you can't, like, nothing can, like, negative can happen with him being with Jade. Plus, honestly, I'm trying to think of who else I would put Stokely with.
Dante.
Yeah, but I feel like Stokely's definitely better in like a heel kind of role. And Dante's definitely a babyface, and it doesn't seem like they're trying to derail that.
I think they tried, and I don't know if people were just not feeling it.
That's what I'm saying.
Or...
People weren't super receptive to edgy Dante. And I mean, the boy screams happy. I mean, happy Jesus, babyface. I mean, the boy's a walking superhero. It's like Ricochet. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to boo a guy like that, and it's just not organic. And AEW's not about. They're about their organic reactions. And so Dante, no matter what they do, seems to have an organic babyface reaction. So there's no point in trying to force it.
Right.
Now, I agree he could benefit from having a Stokely. Definitely, 100%. But he also for me, doesn't fit that vibe for Dante. You know what I mean? Like, Leo...
If Powerhouse Hobbs ever broke away from Team Taz for whatever reason, like
he's another one I could see, being with Stokely. But that's what I'm saying. Like, at least in the meantime, there's nothing negative about Stokely being with Jade. The only thing he can do is elevate her. Or eventually, I'm sure, because I'm sure eventually she is going to just be like, I'm tired of having middlemen. I'm going to do my own thing. But I also feel like that's going to come once the faction is what it's going to be.
Right. I could see that.
Yeah.
All right. One final promo. before the main event, and it was the Young Bucks talking about their newly crowned tag team championshipness. But basically, the Young Bucks are champs, but they're not the world's smallest violin. They are the champs, but they are very sad because they don't have any friends. Kyle O'Reilly's out on injury. Bobby Fish is out. Adam Cole just got injured at Forbidden Door, which is a shame because I'm pretty sure he was injured before Forbidden Door. And I think they cleared him to compete, and he may have aggravated the injury that he already had or sustained a new one. Again, AEW is keeping all their injuries very close to the vest, so it's very hard to tell when and where somebody's going to make a return. And maybe that's the point, to keep people guessing on who's going to be coming down the tunnel at any moment. But again, the Young Bucks very sad that they have no friends. Not a single one. All of them are gone. Hashtag Hangman Page.
Except for that one.
Except for the one. I mean, if you think about it, it's true, though, because even outside of the, undisputed elite or whatever, Kenny's obviously out on injury also. Cody's no longer with the company. So, the Young Bucks kind of are flying solo right now, but they don't even have Brandon Cutler, they say. The person running the camera is actually Fred the intern.
He's doing all right.
He was doing fine. But, and forgive me, I'm going to do my best here. The Young Bucks aren't concerned. They're going to end up facing two gentlemen from New Japan on Rampage. We've got Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. I read manga. And they're not immediately going to give them a title match. They are going to have to beat them first to earn a title spot. And then they told Fred to cut it. That stupid idiot. Poor Fred. Justice for Fred. Free
on
Fred.
His first day.
On his first day. But that's how executives are.
Well, yeah.
But yes, Young Bucks will be on Rampage. I'm sure they're going to put on an amazing match. They always do. Pretty much talking about showing people what, not a true New Japan match, but I think that they, are interested in giving people one final taste of what this crossover can really be about. I think that the Forbidden Door pay-per-view suffered a little with it being injury season. A lot of people on both sides not able to compete due to injuries or potential illness. So many injuries. And so I think that it is a good idea. I think that Forbidden Door 2 is eventually going to happen. And the more that you can sprinkle these things in throughout the year, where it's not just like a destination of Forbidden Door, but like use the year to build on some stuff that's going to lead to the next one. I'm always here for it. I'm always here for long-term storytelling.
I want to see the next Forbidden Door in Japan.
Ooh.
Like Forbidden Door 2 in Tokyo Dome.
That would be sick.
Be amazing.
Yeah.
Do I think they'd do it? Probably not. But it'd be amazing.
I mean, and eventually I'm sure the G1 is coming up. So as much as everybody talks about how clustered and congested the AEW roster is, I think we are going to see quite a few people start dispersing over there to participate. And it'll be interesting to see who shows up. I don't think you'll like any of your mainstays, none of your champions, I would think. Like I don't see the Young Bucks going over there, so maybe this is their opportunity to get a taste. Yeah, I mean Hangman and Okada had really great chemistry, and a lot of people wanted more of that. So I think some people that you don't really like, what else is there for Hangman to do right now? He's not going to go into the interim title picture, and I'm sure plenty of people from the, what is it going to be, like a 20-man Rumble style match next week?
Royal Rampage.
Oh, okay.
That's on Friday.
Oh, is it on Friday?
Yeah, it's a Rampage.
Oh, snap. See? Joker's really in charge, you guys.
Just a mark still.
So I would say that like a good percentage of those have a high probability of showing up on the G1, especially when you have people like Danielson, who probably would have gone. But given his injury, he's had to kind of take the bench seat. But that's fine. I don't see I don't know. I want to say I don't see their relationship tarnishing anytime soon, but it took so long for them to even come to terms. So we'll have to wait and see there. All right, people. Contrary to popular belief, it is actually time for the main event because it literally took the last hour of the broadcast. So how this is going to work is I am going to run down some stuff. I'm going to find a decent stopping point throughout, and we're going to cut to Joker to get his input on everything. Because if I sit here and rattle everything off, it's going to be quite a while. So, started everything off with a video package as the cage was descending down. Ruby Soho. I don't know if this was well known that she and Eddie and Moxley are like all friends and stuff, but for anybody who didn't know, that relationship was established. So Ruby, Excalibur, Dean Malenko, and like a couple other people were talking in this package about how we got here. All the animosity between Jericho and Eddie, and just everything that's led up to this point. They then showed the rules. I won't go over every single one, but the gist of it is the Jericho Appreciation Society got the advantage based off of a win. What was that, on Dynamite last week? Was that the pay-per-view? That was at the pay-per-view because they won at the pay-per-view. And it was to determine who got advantage. So Jericho Appreciation Society, both teams would pick two people to start, and they would get the first person to come in, and basically they would alternate after that every 3 minutes. Now we get to talk about probably the best part of the whole episode, and this is where we'll take our first pit stop. The Jericho Appreciation Society then enters the arena in their red leather pants, their red fishnet tank tops, red suspenders, and red fedoras. Joker, I'm just gonna open it up for you. What are your thoughts about their fashion choices?
When I saw Clockwork Jericho meets the 90s walk out of the back, like the laughing, I'm just like, Jericho is an absolute genius. Like, he's an idiot who does not take himself seriously, which is part of his genius. Like, they had the logo like thigh-sized on these pants, and it's just like, oh my god, how much more gaudy and just unnecessary. Like, Chris is trying to push this as much as humanly possible. Like, he is playing off of everything that he hated about certain things of sports entertainment, and like, it's so over, and I love it. Like,
oh yeah.
And Jericho's like, I'm pretty sure Jericho's the only person that could get away with this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's probably one of the very, 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 very select few people who could get away with a gimmick like this and get it over as it is. Because it's not even like it's over because it's Jericho. It's over. I mean, yes, because Jericho, but it's over because it works.
Right.
And because Jericho's one of those few people who can make that sort of thing work and it not be just blatantly just like, I guess I want to say like cheesy or campy or anything like that. Like, it's legitimately funny. And I appreciate every bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, look, he definitely brought his own flair. And I think it's funny because, of course, normally it's just Jericho that's dressed up. Like, Hager usually just comes out in fight shorts. Sammy also just comes out in like, trunks of some sort. So without Jericho's coordination, it's not like they all would have dressed like that without his input. So
Right.
always wild.
It screamed Jericho.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it was eye-catching, but it was also definitely very naughty.
That's a way of putting it.
Yeah.
Catching.
But fashion choices aside, and of course, the Blackpool Combat Club came out in their normal stuff. Like, they didn't come out as a coordinated unit. I think it was, I know, Claudio. I'm sorry. He only just debuted on Sunday. Give me a second, people. Claudio, Yuta, and William Regal all came out together. And then Eddie, Santana, and Ortiz came out together. And then Moxley did his usual lap through the crowd.
Extended lap.
Extended. Oh, that is the note I have here. So Moxley is walking through the crowd, and there is this one security guard who legitimately is trying to do his job. Okay, he's trying to do his best to keep Moxley safe from the people. Really, the people should be kept safe from Moxley after we start talking about some of the shit that we saw in this match. But he at one point yells at this man because the security guard keeps getting in his way. Like, he's trying to, get in the headspace and, saunter through the crowd and stuff. And this man just keeps tripping him up and getting in the way. And I'm just like, this man better move before Moxley knocks him out.
Bro, I legit thought, he shoved him out of the way at one point, and it's just like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, I know you're new, or maybe you're not new. Hopefully he's new, because obviously you don't understand how this works.
Mm-hmm.
I pray for the fool that tries to pick a fight with Jon Moxley. And nobody's about to pick a fight with Jon Moxley, so you're okay, guy. It's all right to stay close behind like you're supposed to, like the other one. And you can see one of the other security guards that we're used to seeing who, usually there, kind of like, hey, man, just like, it's fine. Just stay behind like we're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
He kept getting in front of him, and he kept getting in front of him. And Mox finally was just like, get out of my way, and pushed him out the way. And I'm just like, bro, but he kept doing it.
Yeah. I mean, it was literally like almost all the way to the ring. And again, the man was just trying to do his job.
Doing his job.
Cannot fault him there. But I don't know. Maybe he was new. I know he probably won't get put on escort duty anymore.
Not Moxley escort duty.
Not Moxley. And I get it. Just last week, they had a really bad issue with it wasn't even last week. It was at the pay-per-view. Where they had like fights breaking out in the crowd and people just getting like really, really trashed. So I get it. You want to keep your superstar safe and you really cannot predict what people are going to do. But it's Jon Moxley. I agree. I'd love to see somebody pick a fight with him.
Bro, he'd cold clock somebody so quick you wouldn't even see it on the camera.
Mm-hmm. All right. Official start to the match at this point. So I'm going to run through some bullet points here. Claudio and Sammy started the match. Kind of an interesting pairing, but, kind of a veteran versus youngster type situation. I think it makes sense. Sammy used his speed in the beginning to burn some time to wait for the second man to come in. Sammy and Ty. Yeah, he ended up like bouncing on some ropes and stuff. Very cool. If you would like to get the full play-by-play, you're just going to have to watch the match because I could not literally write every single thing that happened in this match. I know I say it every week, but this was an hour-long spectacle and this would have fallen off. Like it just would have been gone. Sammy and Ty exchange a kiss through the cage. Of course, they did it early in the match, which is good because by the end it was covered in blood.
Like the camera.
Like the camera. Daniel Garcia was the first man from the Jericho Appreciation Society to come in with sporting the red do-rag. And again, I wrote red do-rag. Why?
To piss everybody off.
I guess. I don't know. I noticed it under his fedora, but I wasn't sure if it was just like a bandana. I don't know what it was, but
I knew exactly what it was when I saw it under the fedora. I was like, this motherfucker got on a do-rag.
well.
And Daniel Garcia also has a very punchable face, but like in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
It's just like your face. I want to punch it. Like that's just kind of where it's at, man.
Crying.
Just
Next we had Wheeler Yuta in for the Blackpool Combat Club. Hager was next in for the Jericho Appreciation Society. Again, as I'm calling these out, remember people, there's like 3-minute intervals between these people and a lot of, punching and it's a lot going on. Mox then was in for the BCC and he brought chairs with him, as one does.
and skewers.
He had a pocket full of skewers.
And
he
glass.
brought a bag of broken glass.
And thumbtacks.
Moxley is I think the thumbtacks ended up coming in a little bit later.
They were still on his person.
Yeah, Mox came for a war. And almost at first it seemed like every person that was bleeding was because Moxley had gotten his hands on them.
Pretty much.
But yeah, Moxley never afraid of a fight in for the BCC with chairs. Moxley then takes a fork and stabs Garcia in the face until he bleeds. Cool Hand Ange comes in after that. And he spends his first couple of seconds because everybody's prone on the ground at this point. Because what's going on back and forth is as the team gets the numbers advantage, that team kind of takes over for the next 3 minutes. And then this team, so at this point, as Cool Hand Ange is coming in, the Jericho Appreciation Society is taken out and he just runs. He's, in and around the ring. He's trying to climb up the cage. Like he's trying to get away. Okay. After this, we'll cut for a second. So Moxley pulls out the bag of broken glass during the commercial. So of course, this wasn't even while this was like on air. This was in picture. So Mox pulls out a bag of broken glass during the commercial, and then pile drives a Cool Hand Ange into the glass. Oh, I'm sorry. And then uses the glass to cut open Hager's face. Joker, anything you would like to say on behalf of...
So I do believe that Moxley pulled out the glass before we went to picture-in-picture, but he did hit the pile driver during picture-in-picture. Yeah, and didn't he already cut open Daniel Garcia before that with the fork?
Yeah, he had that's what I said. He cut open.
Yeah. So he
Garcia
cuts open Garcia with the fork. Then
I only remembered the glass being picture-in-picture because they specifically pulled the frame in when we came back from commercial. They're like, in case you missed it in picture-in-picture, Moxley got the glass and blah blah. So this all happened during the commercial.
Still pretty sure he pulled out the glass before the picture-in-picture, but I know he hit the pile driver during picture-in-picture, and then proceeded to cut Hager's face open with, like, Moxley made Garcia, Hager, Angelo, and then didn't he get somebody else?
Yeah, Daddy Magic.
Yeah, with skewers.
Yes,
and like
and thumbtacks.
And like the way Mox just kept pulling stuff out of his person, I'm just like, bro, what bag of holding do you have of just absolute violence and carnage? Because he's got the skewers in his back pocket. He had the bag of glass, God knows where. Then he like goes into his pockets and pulls these giant ass bags of thumbtacks out of his pockets. I'm like, sir, where were you keeping all of this stuff? Like, it didn't even look like he had all of that on him. And he's been wrestling, in between this. And I'm just like, bro, please stop pulling it. Like, I was just waiting for him to pull a katana out of his pants. And like, by the end of it, like, the man just had everything.
Yep.
And oh, God.
Well, let me get a little bit further before you start talking. I was about to say, because we're not quite there yet.
Yes.
Daddy Magic didn't even get into the match yet. Speaking of which, he just entered the match. And then Santana comes in after that, and I'm pretty sure that he immediately gets injured. He came in like he was ready to roll. He comes in with a table, comes in with the bat covered in barbed wire, and I think he blew out his knee because we basically saw him walk in and then he was down, and we did not see him again.
Because who was it he hit? Daddy Magic with the Uranagi?
Yeah. And from what I remember, they did try to, like, he did try to stand up in the corner. Like, he used the ropes to try to stand up to see if he could do something, because he stood up and did end up giving somebody like a
punch Jericho in the face.
Yeah, but after that, I mean, he was just down. Like, he could not hold any weight on it. He was out for the count. So unfortunately, the BCC already down one member off rip. So back and forth, had to fill the time, obviously, because I think Santana was supposed to come in and do some spots. So this was kind of a little bit of a lull period, but almost everybody in this match was a seasoned pro, and they were able to fill the time, no problem. Jericho was the last member in for Jazz. Eddie came in last for the Blackpool Combat Club, and of course he came in with kendo sticks. And
thunderous applause.
Thunderous applause. And also hilarity, because literally as he's walking, he did not break stride. And the Jericho Appreciation Society are literally throwing themselves at him, only for him to just swat them away with the kendo stick.
Not even looking at him.
A beeline for Jericho. But yes, Eddie is the last official member to enter the ring. Now all 12 members are there, and the match can officially begin. At this point, several people are super bloody. Got one injury so far. Just not looking good. So anyway, at one point, as a matter of fact, hold on. Yeah, I will pause here. Your man, kendo sticks. Anything you want to add here?
All hail the Mad King. Eddie Kingston came in as only Eddie Kingston could. I appreciated multiple moments in the match where they actually went back to Eddie's face. And Eddie, the entire match, was just staring daggers at Chris Jericho across two rings, through the cage, staring at him the whole time, just there, just beamed. And so when he came in, Sammy runs at him. Bop, not even looking. Garcia runs at him. Bop, not even looking. Daddy Magic tries, and he's holding on to him. Eddie hits him one time, hits him two times, and then realizes he's not going to let go. Starts wailing on this man with the kendo stick. Hager walks over. He just smacks him upside the face. Absolutely outstanding. A little bit ahead before that, we did have a beautiful moment between Claudio and Hager. They had a real good little bit. I wouldn't mind seeing that as a match. Just side note. Mm-hmm. But yeah, having Eddie come in and just break through literally every member of the Jericho Appreciation Society, only for him to get to trying to escape Chris Jericho. And he just wails on him with the kendo stick till it breaks. And Eddie Kingston I'm so happy he gets the love and respect that he deserves from the crowd. Like, there were so many moments in this match where you just heard thunderous Eddie, 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 or something about Eddie. Like, I mean, you had Mox like literally teeing off on everybody in that ring, and no one cared because Eddie was about to come in the ring. Mm-hmm. Claudio, I think, was doing a spot when Eddie was about to come in. Still, no one cared. And Claudio just got there. Yeah. The second Eddie started making his way up them steps, everybody was there for it. And I mean, that just truly speaks to how, impactful Eddie Kingston has been here in AEW and to the AEW faithful.
Yeah, I agree. All right, everybody. Last couple bullet points to wrap up this match. Hager does end up going through a table, courtesy of Eddie and Ortiz.
In the middle of the rings.
Yes. I'm sorry. Just before this, Yuta, rite of passage, got to pour out his first bag of tacks on AEW television. I can't speak for his indie career. He may have done tack work before, but of course, this is rite of
the
passage with the Mox. Moxley, of course, also dumping out his own bag. Kind of talked before about how he had two. Daddy Magic was the first one to go through into the fucking tax. And then Yuta got one in return. Like they both they did it to each other. So, you know, wild.
Tax.
Jericho. I'm sorry. When Eddie came in, not only did he have the kendo stick, but it was confirmed that he had brought with him a bottle of rubbing alcohol. Confirmed by none other than William Regal, who was, of course, on commentary. And, of course, he would know since he powwowed with the team beforehand. So the alcohol came into play. Jericho ends up taking a swig and blowing some of it into Moxley's face.
Oh, no, he just sprayed him with it.
Oh, he just squeezed the bottle?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. You'll have to forgive me. I'm a little fuzzy as I was taking all of these notes.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm here.
But yes, Jericho then puts Moxley in the walls, in the tax. Wild. Ty Conti then takes out one of the referees and takes the keys to unlock the cage. Ruby Soho runs out from the back to take out Ty Conti, so I'm sure that's going to be a match at some point. And then all of a sudden, Jericho and Eddie were on the top of the cage. Why? I don't know. Got to. Jericho and Eddie, of course, on top of the cage. Sammy comes up to make the save because at one point, I don't know if Eddie was like about to throw him off the top. I don't know what was about to happen, but Sammy appeared.
Implied. Yeah,
Sammy came up and ended up taking the literal fall for his boss / surrogate father, Christopher Jericho. Eddie sends him off the top of the cage onto the timekeeper's table. But you could tell that it was like two tables set up at the bottom to catch his fall, which is good because far more impactful than the cardboard boxes. I think that they've proven that the double table setup really works as far as safely as possible, trying to catch people falling from the literal sky.
Shout out to Sam and his pinpoint accuracy as usual. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I know. He looked like fucking Ezio from Assassin's Creed. Just like, squaw! And then he flipped over and he landed on his back.
That's exactly what that looked like. Thank you.
Well, he had the arms out and everything.
No. I heard the eagle squawk and everything. It was perfect.
So Eddie sends Sammy off the top. Eddie's now up on the top alone with Jericho. Jericho puts Eddie in the walls. And Claudio comes up to save Eddie of all people. Obviously, they've talked on commentary a few times at this point about the beef between Claudio and Eddie from a previous promotion. But Ruby did talk about in her promo that he would at least play nice for tonight. Don't know what this means for them in the future, especially given how all of this ends up wrapping up. So, in the end, Claudio does save Eddie from the walls, but then he does the big swing on top of the fucking cage. Like, I just want to see him swing increasingly heavier opponents. Like, I want him to swing Bear Country around. And he could do it. He's a strong guy. Are you making notes?
Well, I'm trying to think of the biggest person I can think of him swinging.
Satnam Singh.
Well,
that is literally the biggest person. Unless you count Paul, because he's just like fit, like, just beefier than Satnam Singh.
I'm pretty sure he did it to the Great Khali at one point. So, I mean, that's not out of...
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
I'd watch that too.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I think they'd have a good match. But anyway, Claudio does the swing on top of the cage with Jericho. Daddy Magic comes onto the top of the cage to try to make the save. But in the end, both Claudio and Eddie pull off the double submission. And it's pretty much a race to see who taps, because the way that this match only ends in surrender or submission. And so both of them applying submissions at the same time. Claudio ends up securing the victory, though. Daddy Magic ends up tapping before Jericho does. And at first, Eddie looks pissed. Like, it seems like he's been robbed of his revenge, his, opportunity to humiliate Jericho and get him to submit. But then in the end, they all ended up standing tall at the end, and it seemed like everybody was good. So I'm kind of lost as far as like the beef between those two people specifically, but overall, I think the right people won. Joker, what do you think?
No, I mean, you kind of had to have them win, and like, I'm so upset for Santana because I know this is something that they've kind of been waiting for, especially if this is really supposed to, I'm sure, be one of their, like, part of their coming out party away from Jericho, finally vanquishing the thing that's been holding them back. But yeah, I feel terrible for him, and I know he was pissed. How could you not be?
Right.
But definitely had the right team win. I'm interested in seeing what happens with Eddie and Claudio. Their interactions were a lot more cordial than I expected. So, I mean, maybe they're going to slow burn it.
Maybe.
Which was kind of contrary to what because, commentary was talking about, oh, man,
they hate each other.
He took this away from him, but, you look at Eddie and he's just like, whatever. At this point, like, whatever, we won, I guess. So, I don't know. It's hard to tell if they're going to do a slow burn with it or if they're going to just go ahead and jump right into it. Honestly, personally, I feel like it should be like a slow burn. I think we could really make something out of this, especially with, not everyone knows of the Shikara beef from back in the day. And if there's even still truly beef or not, but, at least that's something to build off of and give the split.
Because it seemed like they were at least on speaking terms, like they were able to communicate. Because for anybody who didn't, and for anybody who didn't actually end up watching the match, Eddie couldn't stand up at first. Like, they won the match, he was in the position that he was in to try to get Jericho to submit. But when Claudio tried to get him to stand up for, the first raise of the arm for the victory, he, the camera was zoomed in on him. So if you could read lips, you could tell what he was saying. And he basically was saying that he didn't know what he had done and his back was fucked up. So not confirmed as far as like an injury like Santana is, because by the time they were going off air, they had managed to scoop him up and he did get his own feet under him. But you could tell he was really hurting. So obviously hope any person that comes out of this potentially injured, takes the time they need to heal. But it's hard to say. I agree with you. I think that it would benefit from a slow burn because not everybody's privy to the history. And on top of that, what I had said during the broadcast was both of them are baby faces right now. Eddie is a good guy, and so is Claudio. And so without any true reason to turn them, either one, which I think of the two, it would be Eddie first. And the people love him right now.
I was going to say, honestly, like, from a organic nature, I feel like, honestly, the easier one to change would be Claudio because he's just gotten there. I mean, he can be a complete dickhead. And, I mean, because the problem with Eddie is the people love Eddie too much.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like a Jericho situation. No matter what Jericho does, no matter what Jericho says, everybody cheers for him. Everybody's going to sing Judas. It's just how it works, and I'm glad they kind of like just gave up on trying to get them to boo Jericho like that because no one's booed Jericho since the beginning of AEW.
Right.
We
can all universally recognize he's an asshole.
Right.
But still sing Judas.
Right. I mean, like, it's like The Rock. The Rock was a dickhead. But we all cheered for him. And everybody screamed at the top of their lungs the second they heard, "If you smell," like, I mean, it's the same thing. So, I mean, goats are going to goat. But,
it's true. Speaking of The Rock, I'm sorry. I just had a really random thought. You remember that house show we went to when that guy couldn't do the rock line? Wild. Absolutely wild. I never thought I would see the day.
Show, like, what? And he had
Wearing
on
a Rock shirt, yes.
Right. Like, you should give that shirt away. Like,
That's what
you
we said
shouldn't
at the
sell
time.
it. You need to give that away to that small child who upstaged you.
Yep.
Who wasn't even alive when The Rock was.
Wild people. Absolutely wild.
Why you gotta bring up the rage?
Look, that shit was funny.
Sad is what it was.
Yes. Overall, Blood and Guts as an episode coming off of a pay-per-view, I was concerned that it wasn't going to have like good energy, I guess. You know, a lot of people are tired. They just worked on Sunday. And yes, people have had a couple days to try to recoup, but you know, you have tape everywhere. People were injured at Forbidden Door, so that cuts down on the number of people that we'll be seeing for a while. But overall, I think Blood and Guts was able to stand on its own 2 feet. Like it wasn't a byproduct of Forbidden Door. So I think that's what's important.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely felt like a standalone episode, which was good. You didn't want it to get, because of the spectacle that is Blood and Guts, you wouldn't want it to get, you know, you wouldn't want it to drown in the aftermath of Forbidden Door, but also giving Forbidden Door its time and, you know, reminding everyone that they just missed Forbidden Door or what happened at Forbidden Door, and that there is truly still some fallout from Forbidden Door. Because, I mean, a good amount of things that we saw tonight were, you know, due to fallout from Forbidden Door. Like them IWGP tag team champions that were on the screen.
Indeed. I think it's only a matter of time before we see FTR and Young Bucks collide. I certainly feel like it could definitely happen at the next pay-per-view at All Out.
100%.
So I think they'll just let Matt and Nick enjoy being the champions for a few months, and then FTR will truly be dripping, absolutely saturated in gold.
Undisputed champions.
Undisputed. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I didn't say it all episode, but like, share, subscribe. Look at all of the fun places you can find us on all of the social media platforms. Yeah, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Dynamite. I've been Divine Intervention. He's been All Elite Joker. And we'll catch you next time. See you.
Bye, peoples.